The World Broadband Association proudly presents the Broadband Development Congress 2025, flagship event of the WBBA and a global gathering of telecom leaders, innovators, and policymakers shaping the future of connectivity. Fixed broadband is becoming key to economic growth, digital sovereignty, and innovation. While AI drives telecom leaders to reimagine networks, cloud platforms, and data ecosystem, fixed broadband growth is driven by fiber and fixed wireless access, while AI is transforming telecom strategies. Telco-led AI revenues are expected to hit $4 billion in 2025, with a 65% CAGR through 2030. By late 2025, AI-driven traffic will comprise a third of global network activity, reaching 10 zettabytes. Telcos are uniquely positioned to lead the charge, building resilient, future-ready infrastructure that enables AI-driven services, supports national digital ambitions, and drives inclusive growth in the AI era. The Broadband Development Congress explores how telcos can lead the development of sovereign, future-ready infrastructure that powers AI-driven services, attracts strategic investment, and supports sustainable economic growth. Also featuring the Broadband Excellence Awards. Join us at the Broadband Development Congress 2025. Be part of the conversation. Shape what's next.
Do you want me to start? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, distinguished guests. And it's great to see everybody here this afternoon at the World Broadband Association's 2025 Broadband Development Congress here in Paris. My name is Mark Oliver. I'm Vice President of Strategic Consulting at Omdia, which is the intelligence and advisory arm of Informa TechTarget. And I'm delighted to be your host here for the summit this afternoon. And as a company, Omdia is very honored to be a founder member of the WBBA, to be a board member of the WBBA, and also to provide its research and insights into the World Broadband Association's ongoing activities. I just want to try and start by setting a very general scene for us this afternoon, taking a look at the current state of and the outlook for the fixed broadband market. So it's been a fundamental for some time now that access to fixed broadband is a core component of a national utility. But it's also, of course, a driver of and an enabler for national economic prosperity. The way that we live and work and interact with one another has changed rapidly and will continue to do so. And it's this sustained demand that's reflected in the Omdia forecast that you see behind me, that shows how global fixed broadband subscriptions and revenues will continue to grow between now and 2030, fueled by both new users, but also existing users moving on to higher value packages that allow greater access to service experience. And from a technology perspective, fiber will be the principal growth engine, as they're driven by demand for ever greater speeds, lower latency, and reliability. There is also traction for FWA, particularly when it comes to connecting rural areas, and we're seeing renewed interest in and conversation around satellite broadband technologies, all of which is contributing to a market that is in growth mode, whether we measure that by subscriptions or revenue. Against this context of market trends, at a network level, it is AI that is driving fundamental change and opportunity for telcos. Now, as we will discuss across the course of this afternoon, and as you will of course see across Network X all of this week, the rise of AI is very real, it's rapid, and it's arguably unprecedented in its impact. If we look at the top of the graphic behind me, on the connectivity side, telecoms operators will have to build and manage networks to satisfy the emerging requirements of AI workloads. Whilst at the bottom of the slide, new challenges can be addressed with the use of AI for networks. I think very interestingly, in the middle of this slide here, as telecoms operators both build their networks for AI and power them with AI, they're also creating commercial opportunities. And according to Omdia's AI network traffic forecast, such opportunities will approach $20 billion by 2030 and influence around $90 billion of adjacent contracts. In such a period of change, no single player can succeed alone in the telecom industry. The challenges are too big, the opportunities are too novel and potentially complex. So collaboration will be key in adapting to the era of AI. And particularly what will be key is the sharing of knowledge, experiences, strategies, and best practices. And the World Broadband Association is playing that critical role in driving such collective effort. For those of you with us this afternoon who are slightly less familiar with the World Broadband Association, established in 2021, the WBBA exists to drive industry development and deliver the benefit of broadband for all. And it seeks to do that by bringing together the entire telecoms ecosystem. And you can see on the slide behind me here the types of organizations that make up the global membership of the WBBA, from operators to vendors to regulators, policymakers and end users, and all points in between, to the point that the WBBA today enjoys over 180 member organizations participating in all of its activities. Just to close, we are very honored and delighted to have many industry distinguished speakers join us today for keynotes. We have a very lively panel discussion planned, all of which will help guide us through the experiences and strategies required for success in the AI era. I'd like to thank all of today's speakers and sponsors, not just in making today's event a success, but in driving the ongoing success of the World Broadband Association. If you're not already a member, I'd urge you to get in touch, use the QR codes on the flyers on your seat, and understand how you can benefit from and contribute to the World Broadband Association. I'm now delighted to welcome on stage our very first speaker this afternoon, the chairman of the World Broadband Association Board, Dr. Zhengmao.
Distinguished guests, industry leaders, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's a great pleasure to meet all of you here in Paris for the WBBA's Broadband Development Congress. First, on behalf of our WBBA board, I would like to extend a warm welcome to each and every one of you joining us today. Thanks to the joint efforts of our members and industry partners, the WBBA has achieved fruitful results this year. In March, the association held its General Assembly, where the second board's nomination committee and the executive committee were elected. The General Assembly also approved the proposal to extend the board with 4 new members. They are from ZTE, Turkcell, Global Telecom, and Informa, further adding international perspective and enhancing the diversification of WBBA. The association also established a finance committee and a technical cooperation committee with Markus Weber, Executive Vice President of Swisscom, and Sonia Piano, Executive of Network Architecture at OpenServe, elected as committee chairs, respectively. This year, WBBA has established its advisory committee, led by Mr. Zhao Houlin, the former Secretary General of ITU. Today, a member of this committee, Mr. Boris Koprivnikar, the former Vice Prime Minister of the Republic of Slovenia, is here today and will give a speech later. Welcome. At the WBBA, we always believe in the power of technology innovation to guide and inspire industry growth. We continuously focus on advancing research in key areas like artificial intelligence, broadband, and cloud network. This year, our 7 working groups covering topics such as AI and broadband advocacy has published Insight for white papers on 5G, voice over Wi-Fi, network 5.5G best practice, and a Gigacity Index. During this event, WBBA will share and introduce our latest research findings, including Broadband and Cloud Development Index, BCDI, 2025 reports, which is the third version of this reports start 2 years ago, offering valuable guidance and references to the future development of broadband and cloud network and their intelligent evolution. In last year, we launched our first ever global awards program. Today, we will present the Broadband Excellency Awards 2025 in order to honor trailblazers driving innovation and transformation with the ecosystem to encourage the champion progress in the broadband industry and beyond. Today, we are witness a rapid rise in user demand for AI applications. Exciting new scenarios like AIGC, AI agents, cloud gaming, and the metaverse continue to emerge, driving the acceleration of digital transformation across the industry. In fields such as industrial internet, Internet of Vehicles, and smart cities, there is an increasing call for smart broadband solutions. The just concluded WBBA's São Paulo summit in Brazil successfully extended WBBA's influence and the cloud network integrate concept to South American countries. Today, we gather in Paris, devise the event theme as a prosperity network, building economic superpowers with broadband, sovereign clouds, and AI. We bring together distinguished experts and industry leaders from around the world to explore how we could innovate in AI and broadband together, paving the way towards a future where everything is intelligently connected. Ladies and gentlemen, at the WBBA, we embrace the values of openness, inclusion, and collaboration. We will continue to see ourselves as a bridge in international cooperation, fostering deeper integration and growth with the industry chain. We warmly invite organizations from all corners of the world and across the diverse sectors of ecosystem to join us. Together, let's build stronger digital information infrastructure and create a bright future for the global broadband industry. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Zhengmao. Before the first of our keynotes and our dive into the thought leadership content this afternoon, I'd like to welcome on stage for his welcome remarks, former Deputy Prime Minister of the Republic of Slovenia, Mr. Boris Koprivnikar.
Allow me to greet you, everyone, also in my name, and explain that I've been joining the WBBA lately because I do believe the importance of broadband basic infrastructure is already enormous, and it will grow in the future. Connectivity is crucial for the development of the economy, education, science. It's boosting innovation, empowering civil society. In short, all societal subsystems have to have connectivity even to function. So this is very important, and this is why the connectivity providers have to play also the crucial role to empowering people with better connectivity. It's not only part of the critical infrastructure, it is also critical for all infrastructure. Nothing is function without good connectivity. Without broadband, there is no information, no dialogue, no business, production, energy, smart gigacities, efficient and accessible governmental services. This all is laid on connectivity. And there is another view which is very, very important to me, and I was always preaching about this in some other former functions. Connectivity is gate to internet. And the internet, as we know it, is basically cumulated humankind knowledge at your fingertip. And that's why the development is growing so exponentially. We have all cumulated informations now available. And there is another bridge. The internet is the gate to the AI. And what AI brings is the equal opportunity to all to get support, to get specific knowledge, and to get the knowledgeable assistance in the form of AI tools that all, of course, boost our creativity. And of course, AI is important also because it's enhancing the functionality of our connectivity systems to achieve greater capacity, reliability, safety, and also sustainability. In the WBBA, we foster collaboration, we advocate for policies that promote innovation, investment, and digital inclusion. Together, the WBBA members can help bridge the digital divide, which is a growing problem, and eliminate gaps in connectivity to create a brighter future for all. Very practical. And the WBBA platform is addressing the challenges on the global level, representing the collective voice of connectivity providers and the platform for exchange the experience, best practices, knowledge, also business cooperation and networking. It serves as our bridge to policymakers and civil society, which together with the economy creates the future of our societies. These are three main pillars that have to cooperate together. And all through the connectivity providers are for-profit organizations. I do believe that they still have to bear a part of the responsibility for the development of the whole society as a whole, through investments, cooperation, and dialogue with the governments. In that way, we are helping to accelerate development. We do reduce the digital gap which exists on personal, organizational, and international level. We have to reduce it. And we have to know that more developed society consequentially needs more telecommunication services, so we can say what's good for society is sooner or later also good for business, and this is the part that we find the win-win solutions with the public systems. And these systems also have to be sustainable, and I would like to remind you that sustainability is not only stewardship for the nature, it means also inclusive society and transparent leadership. All three pillars of sustainability are important to be addressed. So I thank you all who are the members of WBBA, and I encourage you to invite others also from science, politics, civil society, and other relevant fields to contribute their views and help us build the community. And I also encourage you to participate actively in the work of the WBBA bodies to co-shape our positions and promote them. This is the only way that we can also co-shape the policies of the future and the societies and the market of the future which we are operating on. So I wish you all a successful Congress with a lot of new ideas and a lot of new connections. Thank you.
Thank you, Boris. And if I can just echo Boris's encouragement for people to get involved in the aims of the WBBA, everybody should have one of these flyers here. The QR code, please do download the white papers, provide your feedback, but also find out how you can become a member today. Next, to share his view on the new blueprints for a thriving economy, it's my very great pleasure to welcome onto the stage Executive Vice President for China Telecom, Mr. Huang Zhiyong.
Thank you. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's a great pleasure to meet you in Paris and share with you some insights and practices of China Telecom. Currently, AI is advancing at an unprecedented pace. Nearly half of the surge in internet traffic can be attributed to AI-driven activities, while the number of tokens has skyrocketed by over 300 times in past 18 months. At the same time, AI applications have significantly boosted demand for AI computing power, referred to GPU, with this growth rate exceeding 3 times that of general-purpose computing power, referred to CPU. Against this backdrop, the ICT industry is undergoing a shift from Internet Plus to AI Plus. In seizing this opportunity, telecom operators should focus on the transformation from connecting people or things to collecting intelligence, from traffic to token, and from consumer experience to industrial upgrading. The development of AI has created new demands for networks and computing power. This not only unlocks fresh opportunities for telecom operators, but also poses significant challenges, demanding a collective effort for effective solutions. China Telecom is upgrading its strategy to cloudification, digital transformation, and AI for good strategy. I mean to fully embrace AI. Through our practices, we have come to the following understandings. First, the development of AI requires robust new digital infrastructure. A better network enables more efficient connection between users and computing power, while enhanced computing power can support the processing of larger data volumes. Meanwhile, greener and more energy-efficient solutions are essential to ensure the substantial development of AI. For networks, we have deployed the world's largest co-built and shared 5G SA network, serving more than 400 million users. Our gigabit optical network now covers 516 million households and supports 236 million subscribers. In computing power, our AI computing capacity has reached 83 EFLOPS, including both self-built and third-party resources. This entire pool is available for unified management and dynamic scaling via our intelligent cloud. We named it Zhiyong, which supports multiple GPU types, such as NVIDIA and Chen and others. In terms of energy efficiency, we have established China's first zero-carbon data center in Qinghai province, driving the transition from traditional data centers to AI data centers, achieving annual electricity savings of approximately 1.1 billion kilowatt hours. Second, the development of AI hinges on its real-world application. AI should deliver value to the users and involve its role from a tool to a partner to enhance daily convenience, boost operational efficiency, and accelerate scientific research breakthroughs. China Telecom leveraged AI to improve our company's operational efficiency. We have deployed 1,060 AI applications across network operations, customer service, and marketing and sales. For example, our network large model has improved troubleshooting efficiency by 30% and won the ITU AI for Good Award. Meanwhile, we have developed more than 80 industry-specific large models serving industry, education, healthcare, and the other sectors, supporting over 20,000 enterprises. For example, the AI implementation in hospital can reduce outpatient wait times by 30%, while boosting patient satisfaction by 35%. Third, the development of AI needs enhanced security measures. As AI applications confront multi-phased security risks, it is imperative to strengthen protective capability across cloud network, data, and the model to ensure AI operates within a secure, reliable, and trustworthy framework. We have built a multi-dimensional AI security protection system. For cloud network, we pioneered the cloud network device collaborative anti-DDoS technology, which delivers 18 Tbps of real-time traffic clean capacity, maintaining market leadership in China. To protect data, we have built high-quality security data corpus with more than 80 billion tokens. In model security, we have developed open-source large model security fence, which can prevent data leakage and ensure content compliance. Fourth, the development of AI relies on open cooperation. AI should evolve into a public good for the benefit of mankind. We should promote open source technology, deepen integration into real-world scenarios, and foster capital partnership, thereby building a healthy and sustainable global AI ecosystem. In collaboration with 19 partners, we have established the AI Developed Industry Alliance, creating an open source AI developed community that now hosts over 9,400 models and 1,200 datasets. In addition, we partnered with more than 20 institutions to establish the AI Investment Alliance, forming an open platform and industrial investment collaboration. China Telecom is willing to leverage WBBA as a platform to deepen cooperation with global partners, bridge the digital and intelligent gaps, and promote high-quality development of the cloud network broadband industry. Therefore, I'd like to propose joint efforts in 3 aspects. The first is to pivotal role of WBBA to bridge industry demands with technological supply. We should create leading intelligent cloud network broadband demonstration projects, driving the worldwide evolution and advancement of broadband technology. The second is leverage the WBBA's role in collaborative governance to promote the establishment of a global AI governance framework and rules through multilateral consultation, so we can foster the healthy development of cloud network broadband and AI. The third is to take WBBA as a bridge for international corporations for collaborative development of AI computing infrastructure and open platforms. We will reduce the global barrier to AI adoption and create an AI ecosystem that is open source, inclusive, and secure. Finally, let's join hands to embrace the new era of AI for good. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Huang Zhiyong. Really fascinating there to see how China Telecom is leading the industry shift, as was shared there, from Internet Plus to AI Plus. We're going to move to the first of today's conversations up here on the stage. So it's my great honor to welcome to the seats here the WBBA Director General, Mr. Martin Kriener, and Globe Telecom's Head of Broadband and WBBA Board Member, Mr. Danny Theseira.
everyone, and it was fascinating to hear the first few opening speeches, in particular the last presentation from Mr. Huang and China Telecom on the work that's being done within China Telecom on AI and how central it's become to rewriting the strategy. Is that also true of Globe? I mean, is AI becoming central, Danny, to rewriting the strategy and the approach of Globe?
Very much so, Martin. When we, at Globe in the Philippines, we see AI not as a driver for bandwidth demand, but it's really also as a strategic enabler for us, especially when we look at a more intelligent and efficient network. So here itself, we're progressively embedding AI, especially when we got to the whole machine learning across the different network operations. And here we also look at it more so from a predictive maintenance. We're looking at real-time traffic management and how to be able to look at energy optimization as also with regards to the whole customer experience enhancement. And we cater to this across the board, all the way from the ONU itself, which is the CPs in your homes. We have an AI-driven network approach to look at bandwidth steering, ONU Mesh that caters to the different services that you use in the home. And because Philippines itself, 97% of our fiber is actually aerial, and we're a country plagued by different types of natural disasters. In fact, we have close to 20 typhoons in a year. So fiber cuts and isolation of faults becomes a key priority for us. So we've also embedded that in our passive network, where we're looking at ONMSI reflectors to be able to isolate faults, where in the past it used to take us like 4 hours to determine a fault. Now it's gone down to 30 minutes. We've also improved the mean time to resolve for our technicians, and we've injected different types of alarms all the way from the LCP to the NAPs to the OLTs, all the way to the core and access. And even from the back end itself on the operations, we're now establishing more, I would say, a field services command center or an AI-driven control tower that looks into how we track and do resource planning for the different parts of the country, because we have close to 42,000 provinces that with comprising about 4,000 to 5,000 technicians. So the routing that they take, catering to VIP customers, B2B, and traffic conditions in the Philippines ain't that great as well. So how do you best route and choosing between depot to customers to be able to still deliver 95% of installations or repairs done within 24 hours. I think it all encompasses what we need to do and leverage on AI.
So it seems, I mean, that's fascinating because it seems that AI is all-encompassing in the operationalizing, the efficiency, the expanding your capabilities perspective within Globe. And that's, you know, I've heard this, you know, this conversation as well with other operators, and maybe some aren't moving as fast as you, but everybody is moving in that direction. But I always think of this as kind of three-sided triangle, that any new technology, any new investment, it can help make you more efficient, it can help you improve customer experience, and it can help you make more money. Right. So let's talk about the last one there. How is AI changing that value equation within Globe? Is all your focus really on efficiency, or is there a revenue enhancement side to this?
Well, to your point earlier, it's indeed a triangle, right? Where we talk about either operational efficiency, revenue growth, as well as the whole employee empowerment and all that. Let's take, for example, the topic on just revenue growth. We're very fortunate because we're one of very few operators in the world that has an e-payments engine called GCash, where we have 94 million customers in there. And there itself, we do a monetization using AI, or hyper AI, where we actually load between 30 to 50 different KVs. And we do different forms of targeting across the country using AI engine to best deliver the right KVs and message to the customers. So what we're using there is equip it with our capability, because we also have CEI for mobile, and now we have the CEI Wi-Fi Sense and App Sense. So we use that combination of what we can detect outside the house to be able to see where offloading is happening for mobile to a globe broadband or competitor broadband. And within the house itself, we can also detect through CEI of the Wi-Fi Sense, powered by the whole NCE fan system. So that, together with the Gcash Hyper AI engine, serves as a good combination to really drive revenue growth.
That's fascinating as well, because, I mean, finding a way to unlock revenue growth, again, I'll refer to conversations I've had with other operators, but that seems to be the holy grail at the moment, which is AI is a no-brainer for efficiency. Right. And as you say, employee empowerment, customer experience improvement, but how to really create a series of tangible revenue improvements is really what every operator around the world wants to achieve, to justify the substantial investment we're seeing. And when we talk about the investment, what are the big barriers for Globe? You know, is it, and I'll list them off, is it technology? Is it staff? Is it regulation? Other things that come in? What are the big challenges that you're facing specifically in the Philippines in terms of being able to go on this massive AI journey?
A couple of things. First is really getting around the consistency around the whole organization on a single-minded approach to be able to move in the past where it used to be digital first and now it's AI first. But really around, I think with most operators in the region, it's how to get over the whole legacy shutdown. And while we simplify towards a easy-to-use type enterprise architecture, it really boils down to the data architecture that's governing it. And I guess the use of clean data, timely data, real-time data really powers the use cases that we can do for AI. Regulatory is another consideration. I guess journeying the regulator towards where we want to head to, I guess that's also a very important thing for us. As an organization internally, I guess with the AI tools that we have, we notice that the employees are feeling more empowered, and it gives them the flexibility to try the different use cases. But the other thing around the Philippines as well is our broadband penetration is still hovering around 30-odd%. So bridging that digital divide into a large segment of the mass market is also a key priority. And equipping them with broadband, powering the homes, getting internet into the homes, I guess that's the first level, while we work with the regulator to really breach that connectivity across the board. No?
So, I mean, as you say, AI doesn't make any sense without broadband. It's a non-issue in some places, but particularly with the geography, I suppose, of the Philippines and the thousands of islands, and how you actually just get broadband to everyone it must be an enormous challenge that I hadn't actually thought about as much. So I think that's really interesting. Just one follow-up on that, though. You didn't really mention skills as an issue. Do you think you have the skills in country, in company, and I suppose the pipeline of skilled engineers and skilled software scientists coming out within the Philippines in order to meet your needs?
I think when you talk about skill set, when it comes to AI or data analytics, I guess that's certainly where we're short of. But that's where I guess it's how do we expand that reach of going beyond the traditional fiber and getting into the cloud space, the data space, and the whole telecom infrastructure. And I guess through partnerships, I think that's where we work with key global partners like Huawei, WBBA. And I guess that's where we learn from each other. And in conferences like this, where we're sharing different best practices really around AI and how you want to take the next generation of telco, is also very critical.
Yeah.
The other thing is also in the Philippines, you see a lot of booming on the data center, hyperscaler side as well. And that itself is opening up the market to new talents coming in, and also remote work or future of work type concept, which I think expands the reach of skills or talent pool that we can play with.
Yeah, and I think we picked that up in many conversations. There's a phrase in English which says it takes a village to raise a child. And it takes an ecosystem to enable AI. You can't just do it by yourself. You've mentioned some of your partners. But what's the ecosystem like within the Philippines that you're working within? And how are you collaborating? Obviously, you're collaborating with the WBBA, of course. But what's that broad collaboration ecosystem that is needed? And how are you enhancing it?
Well, I think we got to keep an open mind to go beyond the traditional fiber, where you can have access to cloud data, expanding to your hyperscalers. But it also boils down to, I guess, the commercial models. I guess it's moving beyond the traditional commercial model of just buying and selling to really around that win-win type partnership where we can see how to take the business forward and really collaborate in a more structured way where both parties can truly benefit, I guess. And that's where moving from a B2C type approach and a B2B, I guess that's where it opens up greater possibilities.
Yeah. And I mean, you've already made huge progress, but in 3 to 5 years, where do you see this? Where do you see this journey having been? So, say by 2030, where would you hope Globe is going to be on this AI journey?
That's an exciting vision to look at. Probably 3 prongs. One would be the combination of intelligent networks, I guess, supported by a more responsible AI framework, and really around looking at the whole business model and partnerships that we can do to take forward. And that allows us to be able to really probably integrate cloud data, computing, and the different network capabilities where we can, as what we've seen in this conference today, make it come to life, I guess.
Fabulous. Yeah. Many thanks, Danny. That was excellent. It's encouraging to see that the advancement on this is not just in China Telecom and that it's in countries all over the world. And it explains the reason why I suppose we're all so focused on this challenge. So many thanks, and we'll draw that to a close now.
Great chat, Martin. Thank you. And look forward to learning from everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Martin. I think one of the themes that was prevalent throughout that conversation was the need for partnerships and collaboration, and the fact that both of those things are so key to enable the next generation of telco, of which Globe is certainly one. It's my great pleasure now to welcome onto the stage the president of the optical product line at Huawei, Mr. Bob Chen.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm glad to be here with you again. Today, I'd like to share with you the importance of the strategic infrastructure in the AI era and the evolution of the optical networks. Looking back on the history, strategic infrastructure have long-term impacts on national development, including politics, economy, and culture. Over 2,000 of years ago, the Roma Road, which covered more than 400 salt kilometers, greatly improved internal trade of the Roma. In ancient China, the Dujiangyan system perfectly resolved the flood problem, transforming the flood era into the rich land. In modern times, the Suez Canal shortened the sea route from Europe to Asia by thousands of kilometers. Actually, there are many similar examples. All the strategic infrastructure have promoted the long-term economic and social development. Actually, in the AR era, strategic infrastructure is still the key to the development. It is very clear that AI will change our life and work. In the future, we think every home will have a smart agent. Every enterprise will integrate the AI into the many processes, such as R&D, manufacture, and marketing, and so on. And everyone will have an AI assistant. So, what are the strategic infrastructure in the AI era? In my personal view, it mainly includes computing DC, data transport infrastructure, and AI interests. The first is computing DC. According to the IDC data, by 2030, there will be 100 billion AI agents globally. Computing power will be everywhere, like water and electricity. Almost all devices, like phones, TVs, computers, will use computing power. IDC also says that compared with traditional investment, computing power investment brings 3 times of economical benefit. We can see that many regions and countries are speeding up investment in computing infrastructure. Taking Europe as an example, in April of this year, the European Union released the AI Content Action Plan, planning to invest 20 billion euros to enhance the AI capability of the European Union. So we can say that building computing infrastructure is a global trend. Owning computing power is not enough. We think faster and efficient transmission for computing power is also very, very important. In the AI era, connection content are shifting from the internet data to the AI token. Connection directions are changed from the user to content cloud to the user to the computing DC. According to forecast, by 2030, AI traffic will grow more than 10 times. So we need to build a strong data transport infrastructure. Up to now, we can say that over 140 carriers are upgrading their backbone networks, and more than 30 carriers are building 1 millisecond latency metro networks. For example, China Mobile built the Zhiyong computing optical networks last year. It covers 30 provinces and over 200 cities, making the computing data transmit efficiently. The third is AI interests. Actually, in the past 20 years, fiber home broadband brought the digital life to the over 1 billion homes. Now, homes are moving from the digital to intelligent stage. We believe that carrier will take advantage of home connectivity to upgrade the home broadband into the intelligent infrastructure, building the AI answers to provide the smart application to all users. And we found that many carriers have launched the home AI strategies and products. For example, China Telecom have launched the home AI agent. It can talk with the family members, assist children with their studies, and help manage home smart devices. Over the past 13 years, from SDH, ADSL in the voice era, to OTN, FTDR in the video era, optical network has always been an important part of infrastructure. Facing the AI era, we believe that optical network needs to upgrade to the intelligent optical network. By enhancing the capabilities, it can better serve AI to edge and computing scheduling. At the same time, AI technology will be used to rebuild the optical network towards high-level autonomous network. Intelligent optical networks include two parts: intelligent OTN and intelligent FAN. Next, we'll introduce them separately. First, in intelligent OTN, it has two parts. One is OTN for intelligence. Through the optical and electric technology innovations, intelligent OTN can achieve efficient computing power transmission for any rate from megabps to the terabits. In addition, using the stronger computing power and the high-speed optical switching materials, W-SUN switching time can be reduced from the seconds to the milliseconds level, achieving the 6 nines high reliability. Based on technologies such as quota encryption, it ensures the very high security for the very, very important services. The other is the intelligence for OTN. User technologies like digital twins, building the service, network, and optical fiber 3-layer sensing models. For the network planning and construction, it can achieve service and activation within minutes. For the network maintenance, it can help identify network risk and provide optimization suggestions. We hope that through the intelligent OTN, we can support the fast scheduling of computing power and achieve the high efficiency computing collaboration. Intelligent FAN also have two parts. One hand, FAN for the intelligence. Each home gateway will have the built-in computing power. Upgrade it from the connectivity gate to an AI entrance, providing user with the rich intelligence applications. At the same time, based on the built-in computing power of the OLT and home gateway, it can be aware of the types of service traffic. Combined with the other innovative technologies, such as dynamic scheduling of Wi-Fi resources and hardware splitting, it can guarantee differentiated experience for the critical AI services. On the other hand, intelligence for fun. Based on user experience models, it can discover quality issues in the network real-timely and remove risk in advance. When a fault occurs, intelligent fan can analyze automatically for troubleshooting and also provide the support for the engineers to resolve the fault quickly. We hope that through the intelligent fan to support the carrier to build the home AI entrance, upgrade the home broadband operational model, drive the new growth in the AI era. In short, embrace the AI era. We need to plan in advance, accelerating the construction of the strategic infrastructure. And optical network also need to upgrade to the intelligent optical network, empowering AI evolution and using the AI rebuilding the optical network. Ladies and gentlemen, let's work together to seize the opportunity of the AI era and win new growth. Thank you for your listening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chen, and thank you for guiding us towards what it means to have intelligent optical networks. I'm delighted to introduce our next speaker onto the stage, who is very intriguingly going to examine what's described as Italy's broadband paradox. So it's my great pleasure to welcome Chief Communications and Sustainability Officer from Fastweb plus Vodafone, Lisa de Feliciantonio.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you for actually inviting me here. My speech will be more about policy than, technology. And try to kind of focus on what, in some cases, barrier to deployment and adoption can be, and how policy can hopefully overcome them. A couple of words on who Fastweb Vodafone is. Last year, December 2024, Fastweb, which is a fully owned subsidiary of Swisscom, completed a transaction purchasing the Italian branch of Vodafone Group. And this created could say it's the largest convergent challenger in the country. Fastweb Vodafone currently is, operating in all three segments, so B2B, B2C, and wholesale, as 7 billion of revenues, and is currently the first operator in the mobile segment and the second player in the wireline segment. Okay, there we go. Okay, where do we stand in terms of, yes, is that, okay. Where do we stand in terms of fiber to the home, fiber to the premises deployment? Not so bad. Up till a few years ago, Italy was one of the country, seriously lagging behind in terms of rollout of fiber networks in Europe. I'd say that a couple of years, situation has changed quite dramatically, and we are at par with most of other countries. You have to consider, nevertheless, some elements that makes the deployment, make the deployment a bit more challenging. The orography of Italy. Italy is a country made it's made of a lot of mountains. So, deploying fiber in areas where, outside the most densely populated area is extremely costly and challenging. The penetration rate is still very low. I will be more specific on this in the next 5 minutes. There is also, a problem connected to the lack of workforce. Basically, there is especially in the past 2-3 years, there have been a lot of subsidy to deploy fiber in less densely populated area. This has basically pushed the operators to change their plans a bit. So they are focusing on this area because obviously there are subsidies involved and actually even high penalties for delay in the construction. Fiber uptake, unfortunately, as I was saying before, the picture is not so rosy, and the situation is extremely complex. In Italy, we have a low take-up, much lower than any other country in Europe, of not just fiber, but in general, wireline. Why is that? There's a number of reasons, so I've just summed up the most relevant ones. Basically, the lack of cable. Italy, together with Greece, is the only country in Europe where there haven't been cable TV. And this has obviously generated, different habits in terms of how people, use connectivity in their home. But also there is a very high data allowance with extremely low cost attached of mobile phone. At the moment, basically, in a time when basically mobile phones are, mobile networks are not so crowded yet, mobile is very much a perfect substitute for wireline. So this is an issue with costs that are a fraction of wireline. Also, the migration to fiber to the premises is proceeding at low stage because basically not only there is a limited demand from, from ADSL and VDSL to fiber, because VDSL and ADSL that are based mostly or entirely of copper do perform very well in Italy due to the structure, to the configuration of the networks and the fact that the last bit of the network from the street cabinet to home up to the households is generally very short. So, the performances are not bad at all. And on the supply side, there's also an issue because basically operators have no incentive whatsoever in pushing to the families to switch to fiber. Why is that? Because there is no premium price attached to fiber. So fiber has got higher cost, one-off and recurrent, and no, premium price, no extra revenues attached to it. You may wonder why is that? Hope to answer. Well, in 2016, the Italian government thought that the deployment of fiber by at that stage, the champion in Italy, Telecom Italia, was proceeding at a too low a pace. So they decided to basically create from scratch, or almost, an alternative champion, an alternative provider of fiber. That was the beginning of, the creation of this wholesale-only operator. an wholesale-only operator that, I mean, started deploying at a very good pace, and I mean, it did create exactly the effect that the government was looking for, obviously, a race to who was actually reaching specific areas first. So the pace at which fiber was being deployed increased, substantially. It though created a second effect. There was on the market an operator deploying fiber that didn't have any downstream company, and they didn't have any company, providing retail offer to the market. So he had the need to create a demand for its fiber. So they did strike some, deal with some of the historical providers. At that stage, there were 4 broadband operators in the country. But look at 2025, what happens in 2025. This is just the major provider. Basically, what a wholesale-only fiber operator does, it generates offer that are very low cost because it needs to, fill its network. It's basic economy. Once you've deployed it, you have to have, as many lines connected as possible, and created turnkey solutions, basically. Turnkey solution meaning an active service in which you provide everything from, the activation, the maintenance, even the customer care. So basically, no matter who, even if you don't have any investment ever made in this sector, you can start your own broadband company, basically. Even the building system sometimes, they provide everything. It's just, a white label service. So this is the situation. Situation is a situation in which a lot of companies from other sectors, energy, satellite television, financial services, entered the market. They didn't need to make money out of it. It was just a bundle approach, which is that they just needed to basically create a more stickier offer, reduce churn on the core services on which they're making money. And as a result, we have, offers as low as €17.90 per month. The average package is 25 euros per month. It's a dramatic situation. Obviously, this triggered a price war in the market. So, our mistake was probably to follow this approach. I don't know if we had any other option, honestly. And as a result, there was a reduction of ARPU for all the markets. A situation that is, as I said, not at all nice. And one of the side effects was no premium price for fiber. Fiber is sold exactly the same price of any other connectivity served on a legacy network. So there's no incentive to switch. So it's a very nice, not very nice, vicious circles we have here. How do we break that? Well, standard policy measures, not very fit for purpose. Increasing copper price, that has been something that's been a very heated debate in Italy for a long time. But does it work in a situation in which the deployment of fiber is far from being over, and one of the players also manages the legacy network? If you had a legacy fully depreciated network that generates increasing revenues, and on the other side, you had to put a lot of money on the ground investing for a new, risky network. What would you do? Obviously, the big risk is that to slow down deployment of fiber, even in a situation in which you have 2 players. obviously, it's if one of the two slow down, the other one will slow down and try to monetize the existing network. The other option, decommissioning copper. Decommissioning copper in a situation in which you have 20% of adoption doesn't sound the right move. I mean, decommissioning, I'm a strong believer in decommissioning copper, but it has to be a measure to convince the laggards, the late adopters, to switch to a better technology. Otherwise, in a situation where we are now, made on a large scale, it becomes, a huge, not only costly, it would be, a bloodbath for operator, but it would be an extremely complex operation. So, not the right one. Demand state incentive, that has been tried more than once. But basically, what is the problem there? If you have a country in which a connection to fiber costs 20 to 25 euro per month, and you give a voucher to the end user, basically you're just triggering, you're just incentivizing opportunistic behavior, and you are further devaluing, further decreasing the perception of value of something that is already not perceived as something valuable. So honestly, I'm very much against it. What it triggered is it didn't create more people jumping on the fiber, but people that are families that have already been subscribers that churn from one operator to go to another one to take advantage of the fiber. So not a good option. What we're trying to push for? What we're trying to push for is a situation in which we identify, actually not us, but the telecom regulator identifies areas in which there is a sufficient degree of deployment and also sufficient degree of adoption to identify those as areas in which decommissioning can be scheduled in a way. So not on a large scale, but in small area, but at the same time in those areas measures have to be taken to support operators that have to basically support a lot of cost to do this switch. So a couple of ideas there is, on one hand, the operators, that the AGCOM, the regulator can mandate the operator that has a legacy network to waive the cost of disconnect the old network. So just, not at the moment we have a cost to disconnect copper and one to connect fiber. So, one of the two has to go, at least in those areas. And on the other hand, the idea is to have some voucher, not for the demand, but for the supply, on the supply side. So from some sort of scheme to help the operator to recover the one-off costs connected to this migration, to this technical migration. This is something that that's been debated at length at European Commission, and that the European Commission so far has kind of, strongly opposed to. So we understand this may not be a very widespread situation, although I think that there are other countries that somehow, can relate to this kind of vicious circle. So we hope to reinitiate this discussion, this debate in Brussels at the end of the year, when the Digital Network Act will be tabled at the European Parliament. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lisa. Before we move on to the panel discussion, which is coming up next, just a few brief remarks from me to mark the launch today of the WBBA's Broadband and Cloud Development Index 2025. This iteration of the report and the index marks the third year of the WBBA's deep dive into this market-leading analysis, where it examines the development of fixed broadband and cloud markets across 73 countries, representing 95% of global GDP, and indeed 80% of global population. And the WBBA does that through the index by looking at 28 key metrics across three main areas, and those areas being access, usage and application, and potential. And among the key findings in the 2025 iteration of the index is the fact that there is a strong positive correlation, indeed 77% correlation, between index scores and GDP per capita by country, which certainly underlines the importance of broadband and cloud industries for economic and broader social development. At a country level, the US maintains its #1 position versus last year, driven by its leading performance in broadband and a strong showing in cloud. And in second place, China maintains that slot, having benefited from very successful government and industry initiatives that have made it a leading broadband and cloud market. Very important and interesting to be thinking about this slide behind me right now in the context of what Lisa has just been sharing with us. Because one of the things that the index report looks at is who is improving, where is there growth, what are the countries where there is a development year on year. And in terms of that performance, growth and improvement in this year's index, despite some of the challenges that Lisa was sharing, the country with the biggest improvement in rankings was Italy, which jumped 14 spaces from 2024. Switzerland also saw major improvement, climbing 10 spaces year on year. And I think there is some key themes across both of those, and a demonstration that where there is a well-designed policy, regulation, and a robust discussion amongst operators in a particular territory, it can provide the impetus, the incentives, the drive to develop broadband and cloud industries, which can drive rapid development and socio-economic growth. So before the panel come onto the stage, I'd just like to recommend everybody to engage with, analyze, socialize, provide your feedback on the 2025 Broadband and Cloud Development Index. It's an opportunity to learn from the success stories across many different territories as to how you might be able to drive improvements in your own market and organization. There's the opportunity to understand exactly how AI is driving profound changes in connectivity and computing. It's an opportunity to understand and plan for the increased importance of sovereignty, and to understand how, with the explosion of AI workloads, telcos need to rethink how they plan, design, manage, and roll out their networks. So again, a plug from me to use the QR codes on the flyer on your seat. Make sure to download the 2025 Broadband and Cloud Development Index, which is launching today. Do share your feedback, and we look forward to hearing from you. Which just leaves it to me to introduce onto the stage our panel, who are going to be discussing how telcos can lead the next wave of infrastructure-led prosperity. So just while the crew are completing the setup here, I'd like to introduce and welcome onto the stage Maimouna Gay, Davide Di Labio, Eric Delanoy, Hakima Chaushi, Terje Jansen, and my Omdia colleague, Ronan de Rennes.
Thank you, Mark, for the introduction, and what a pleasure to be here today with this wonderful panel. It's a big panel. We've got 5 panelists here. It's a very diverse panel as well. And what I really like about the Broadband Development Congress is that it's a really global event, and we have a lot of testimonies from operators and partners from all over the world. So we heard from Globe in the Philippines, we heard from China Telecom, and we're now hearing from all of those panelists coming from all parts of Europe and Africa. So I'm an analyst. My name is Ronan de Renesse, and I'm the Vice President of Telecoms Research at Omdia. And yes, so I will start with a data point because I'm a data analyst, and then we'll go on to the stories from the panelists here. So AI traffic, on the networks is set to grow 6 times in the next, between now and 2033, which is a huge exponential growth. And that's going to be driven by AI. 43% of this traffic is being driven by AI-enhanced applications, and then we have 20% of that traffic from net new AI application. So this is going to drive a fundamental change in the way we run the networks, in the way we monetize traffic as well. But let's hear from our panelists. And so, as I said, we had a lot of different diverse people on the panel. So what I would like to ask you, and we'll go to each of you, is what does AI infrastructure means for you and how it affects your organization would be a good way to start. So maybe we'll start with you, Mena.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here with all these telecom experts. So I'm Maimuna, CEO of ILM Telecoms and Fiber Store that work on design architecture and also supplying material, optical fiber materials and trainings in Africa. So for us, AI infrastructure goes beyond algorithm and data centers. It starts with people because it is important for us to ensure the foundation, and it will begin with the human foundation. So it's why we invest a lot in training sessions so that the local technicians can know how to handle and how to work well on their infrastructure. And then the second thing is that in Africa, we don't have a lot of factory and industries so that we can produce some materials that fit our needs, and also it is adaptive with the context and also the problem that we have, temperature, for example, or cost, and so on. So ILM Telecom pushed the global manufacturers so that they can develop solutions that fit our needs, and also it is adaptive with our context and all the problems that we can have on the field. And to finish also, when we talk about AI infrastructure in Africa, we start not to copy, we are building our way to improve AI on ourselves. Because it's not about, just for us, it's not about cables, connecting cables. It is about human before that, and also it is about technical issues that we have so that we can go beyond that and to ensure the real infrastructure that can allow us to develop more the AI.
Thank you, Maimuna. Davide?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Davide. I'm a KPMG partner in Italy. I look after some of the major accounts in the region. So we see telecom operators from an outside-in perspective. So it's a kind of a privileged view. To answer your question, it's a complicated one. I mean, to me, it is the AI infrastructure is the backbone that makes AI real, repeatable, and monetizable, right? So it's everything that is, turning models into products and solutions, from data pipeline to compute, to inference compute when you have to train the models, to training computing when you have to make models better. It's data centers, it's edge proximity, it's power grids, right? So it's all the invisible scaffolding that is actually making sure that AI is not just PowerPoint or just a narrow section of the organization. It's in production, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. When it comes to telco, I guess it has two meanings. One meaning is for sure the capacity of creating an infrastructure that is able to sustain, to capture new patterns of consumption. Think about the new demand, right? Users are demanding intelligent, new connectivity, throughput, download. Everything is going up. They want everything right here, right now. So you have to sustain. You have to create an infrastructure network that is able to meet those expectations. On the other hand, for telco, I guess that AI infrastructure is something you have to build on top of that capacity. It's the ability of creating their own models to be trained and hosted in a secure, scalable, and compliant environment, and you can offer such capabilities to the B2B markets, right? So it's a way to grow in terms of revenue. I assume this is the next best chance the telecom operators have to succeed in the B2B segment, right? So it's not just the way you deliver the promise to your customer. So back to the first definition, it's also the way you deliver the services to your B2B customers.
Great, thank you, Davide. Akima?
Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me in this panel. I like very much your question, Ono. AI infrastructure for me, as I would say a human being, sounds like this new transition of consuming digital. So it's something that is very strong for our societies. And as a citizen and as also a mother of two, AI infrastructure for me is, I would say, something that has to be really taken in the lines that were introduced before, AI for good. Now, as a scientist and as a telco, I would say, researcher, standardization expert, AI infrastructure for an academic institution in charge of research, education of engineers, PhDs, innovation with collaborative projects with telco industries. AI infrastructure sounds as a very good opportunity to rethink our research from the needs of AI, because AI brings also other scientists, mathematicians, making models, physicians working on physics of a very high-speed computing, and this opens actually new research venues in research that was not really a very, I would say, accelerated as what we can see now, because we used to do like digital related sciences alone, I can say that, and I am actually maybe one of those witnessing, internet-related standards. So I've been involved in IETF standardization, for example, and then now more in 5G, 6G discussions. So for me, AI infrastructure sounds probably as very exciting for a researcher. Like maybe it's similar to the first time we had tactile internet, or the first time we had like web pages coming from satellite communication. So yeah, for my organization, it's really absolutely a big opportunity to bring new venues for researchers and also collaboration with telco, industries to make this work, but to make it also right.
Great, thank you. Eric?
Yeah, thank you, Renaud. Thank you very much for your invitation. So I am Eric Delanois, and I work at the France Telecommunication Regulatory Authority in the department in charge of fiber regulation, especially. So for a regulatory authority, AI infrastructure is basically broadband infrastructure, because connectivity is at the foundation of AI. And the role of the regulator in this case, in fiber is to set rules to infrastructure fiber operators when they act as monopoly player, which is always the case for the last mile of fiber. And when setting the rule at ARCEP, we have three main objectives. The first one is to have widespread coverage. The second one is to ensure competition. And the third one is to ensure there is no inefficiency in the deployment, namely no overbuild of several networks in the same area. And we had quite large success in France because we have now 93% of homes passed with fiber infrastructures and almost 80% of broadband subscribers who are served on the fiber infrastructures.
Thank you, Eric. And Terje?
Yeah, thanks, and good afternoon, everyone. So happy to be here. So I'm Terje, I'm heading up business security in Telenor, and also have a hat of strategy, so that's why I'm here. So Telenor is a telco. We are in the 8 different with more than 200 million customers. So back to the question, AI for us. I'm going to be very concrete and probably repeating some of the previous panelists as well. Start from the basic data center. You need to have a data center, at least you need to have access to a data center. One of the big questions for data centers, do you have enough power? So just don't forget about that. So that we're happy to be in Norway, so we have quite a lot of power sources there, even clean power sources. So that's the kind of the fundament on the data center. Then, of course, you need to have compute and those kind of things. So by the way, of course, we are building a data center, or we have built a data center, so that kind of ticked off. Back to the question, what does it really mean for us? We are also established an AI factory. I think you could saw it on the slide this morning. So we have established an AI factory. We are selling GPU as a service. As part of that. So that's with the commercial customers. And it's interesting when you get into, I think it was mentioned before as well, you get into these dialogues with the enterprise customers on AI. And it's, I really encourage everyone to do that, because then you see what problems they are struggling with in this digitalization journey. So as I said, we are doing an AI factory. We are also, because not all the AI cases need a GPU. So that means that you can have a sovereign cloud. So we're also doing that. We are establishing a sovereign cloud services. And a reason for that is that the sovereign, I think you can also, if you were once watching the sessions this morning, it's quite a strong drive towards the sovereignty. And one of the reasons for that is the enterprises are actually asking for using that either on the regional, national level, clearly, but also on a local level. So you need to support all these kind of models, and that's a distribution of it. And as a telco, we know how to distribute things, at least to some extent, and looking forward to the further on how is that going. Then, of course, there are software bundles on top of that. We can argue about whether that's really in the infrastructure or it's outside on top of the infrastructure. People, I think, was on the people side of it is very important for us, both for the internal ones and also for the partnering part set of it. And not to forget, you have to be able to sell it. So you need to have a go-to-market model, you need to have products, you need to have all that apart. And then I think, if I can sneak in a part of it, so for us, AI infrastructure doesn't come without connectivity. And you just mentioned some numbers in the very beginning. So of course, that's where we are in that business. So we see that the AI is actually fueling our also connectivity business. And everything needs to be secure. And that's why I'm heading security in Telenor. So that's, so it's a great opportunity for us. It's, I think you can hear that the glass is at least half full, and probably also, there's filling up, I think. So there are great opportunities here for all of us, I think.
Great, thank you for all your answers. So in summary, I think we have a lot of different sort of side of the definition of AI infrastructure, which covers the underlying technology like fiber adoption, which is essential for this, which is not the same everywhere in the world, but we also need to have enough capacity from a data center perspective and for that technology to be able to enable AI. And then the application side on the B2B. So it was mentioned a few times that the B2B side is really what's driving a lot of the kind of business case investment for it. The next question is on national prosperity. And I think moving a little bit more into the sovereignty side, every context for the countries that you're in is very different. And Maimouna, for your part of the world in Africa, I think those elements of the technology, the enablement, the data centers, etc., is probably not as developed as some other parts.
Yeah.
But the opportunities at the same time are growing really fast, right? So maybe I'll ask the panel, maybe we'll go that way again, sorry. It's quite
Okay,
boring,
no problem.
but quite a few of you. Around that question of like, what is different that needs to be done at national level to help a nation? And perhaps we can move into the partnership opportunity as well at the same time around that to help to bring that national prosperity.
Yeah. So when broadband is combined to AI in Africa, it is a powerful, it is very powerful for us because it will help us to leapfrog delays of decades of delay that we have. And I think that with reliable connectivity and also smart technologies, we can transform agriculture with AI and healthcare and so on. And I think Africa has already started because with Ghana, for example, we have a company, a little company named M-Pharma, which is working to detect medical diagnostics. We have in Nigeria also other companies that are working to improve their agriculture. In Senegal also, with the program of the artificial program, the national artificial program, we improve also the local languages so that it can be included in algorithm of AI, so that now the culture and the values of African people also can be involved in the algorithm that we have in AI. And I think that Africa also has proven his way to build differently, and I think that with the AI, it will build differently. Think about mobile money. I think that the platform, the financial platform, are very well developed, more developed in Africa than in other countries, because and it helps people also to know to connect themselves, but also to know how to trade with the different applications. So I think that they are not waiting to develop all data centers, infrastructures, and so on. They are starting to build now with what they have also and the intelligence that they have. And I think that with the help of the government, but also the telcos that we have, they will develop more also the infrastructure so that they can also develop more the services. I can give the example of Gamtel, with who we are working with one of our partner. They enter into a PPP so that they can move their network into 10 giga to 800 giga with a WDM solution. We will also implement a monitoring system. We will connect also, we'll help them to increase by 25% the entrance of fiber in their network. And I think that it will help them, and it will reshape all the network and will help them to welcome all the new technologies that will come, and also to help other companies to be more efficient with more capacity. So I think with broadband is the foundation. AI is intelligence, and with two of them, I think that we will build more our prosperity, but not by waiting or by copying, but by building with what we have in the field. Yeah.
That's excellent. Yeah, so a lot of examples. Thank you very much for that. Actually, I'm going to jump. Sorry, Davide, but I'm going to jump to Tayeb because I'm interested to hear from Telenor's footprint, because you have quite a few different markets. If you have any kind of answer to that question that could provide some examples where Telenor is partnering to bring national prosperity in those markets.
Yeah, I can be very short on the partnering. You can partner for everything. So that's the way when we talk about data centers or in co-investing or co-development or whatever. You can also partner up with enterprise customers with co-creation, what we have been doing in a few cases. So that's kind of the short answer on partnering. When it comes to the first part of the question, I guess on society, we see a massive digitalization flowing across all the modern societies. And that's driven by requirements for efficiency, quality, safety, security, and you can just innovation, and you can just add on and add on. So these are the driving forces for enterprises, and they're also driving forces for us as a telco, to embrace AI and embrace all this digitalization in the same way. And we see that many of the things we are doing internally is just as well relevant for the customers, enterprise. We can talk about maybe a couple of examples, if I may. So one thing we are doing is of course, the chatbot on the customer care. And to take one variation of the chatbot, so the AI model is listening in on the dialogue with the customer and just doing the auto summary. And at the end of the day, here are the top 10, top whatever kind of problems with the customers today.
Yeah.
And that's taking away a lot of manual work. That dialogue is the same dialogue as a medical doctor has with a patient. You can just copy that dialogue and the same way to listen into the dialogue and summarize the whole thing, and then come with statistics, come with reporting due to regulatory or whatever. So you're taking away a lot of those manual kind of, not creating a lot of value, at least for the experts. In that sense. So that's just an example of an efficiency thing on where we are using AI, and we say the same thing again from the enterprises or even the public agencies or offices in that sense. So back to the digitalization. That's just simple example on that. And we could add on, on the oil and gas and farming and forestry and health and whatever, but yes, I'll stop there.
Only a few, yes. I'll jump again and I'll go to Akima next, because I think you've been working quite a lot on some projects for the European Commission or working with the European Union as well. And from a scientist's point of view as well, so how can you see the combination of broadband and AI and the role of telcos in helping the kind of national or kind of like European prosperity, I would say, in this case?
That's a very broad question, but really ongoing actually at the moment. There was a slide just before from media, I think, showing network for AI for network, and in fact, probably there are many things I could say here in this question, but I will probably limit this to the ongoing, in fact, collaborative projects happening between different, I would say, domains like the cloud, the telco, and the AI. And for the success of these collaborative projects, they require, in fact, to have efficient, as you said, connectivity working, efficient computing processing part, which is related more to the software industry like the cloud. And of course, efficient AI models and the deployment of these AI models. And here, in fact, we go back to the telco industry, because the deployment of AI models goes to concepts that are related, for example, to distributed equipments, distributed algorithms, and if the connectivity there works absolutely well, then you can get a good service. So this is exactly the way the collaborative, I would say, research and innovation is ongoing, gathering different industry profiles, different academic research profiles. And I would like to stress the point that on this third stage, because we can see this as a building, actually, and the third stage, which is the AI deployment, there is also this very important role of scientists to validate the quality of the mathematical model, but also the trustworthiness of the model, because we are here speaking about this generalized deployment of AI, and this will be then used as a service. So, in fact, you need to have somehow a trusted AI model in both ways. Like you spoke about cybersecurity, but also about these biased models, to make sure that the model which is offered to citizens, to the industry, is really doing the right work. So yeah, so I think also the alignment of different initiatives between countries, continents is absolutely important. And you could see different initiatives going on in Europe. For example, there are these AI factories, AI continents. All these will bring I would say, the infrastructure challenges to the telco industry, the computing industry, and the scientists also will be very highly close to these different industrial, I would say, challenges. Yeah.
Oh, great, thank you. Eric, going on to you. So what does that mean for the French context and for RCEP in particular, in terms of like how, I know you're kind of focusing on the fiber side of things, you're not looking at AI regulation in France, so I don't want to put you on the spot here, but how does that help your work? How all this AI story and investment and partnerships is helping the work that you're doing at RCEP?
Well, in the role of RCEP, in our objectives, so there is competition. Competition enables to have innovation between actors, especially for AI, for instance, and the different services that we had in the different examples we just heard of, and also to have moderate prices, so that enables companies and end users, different end users in the mass market, to have affordable access to broadband. And also we have an increase in broadband coverage, and we know that, for instance, different studies say that if you increase 10% of broadband coverage, you have 1.5% of increase in GDP, which is huge. And actually, we need to find the right balance between the incentive for coverage and competition, because if you have too strong competition, then you have less incentive to deploy. That's why we set rules, for instance, to give access, so that the infrastructure operator, fiber operator, has to give access to the last mile, but with a reasonable margin, so that he keep an incentive to deploy, and not the price is not cost oriented, as it was the case for the legacy corporate infrastructure, for instance. And we have set rules for the extensive exchange of data, so that we prevent overbuild within the same area.
Okay, great, thanks. And last question to Davide. I'm coming back to you now. I know you've done some study recently on the kind of positioning and the role of the telco in the AI world. I don't know if you want to kind of share a few thoughts around that, the role of telco in kind of...
We ask ourselves, what are the key AI strategies that telecom operators could adopt? So this is why we decided to map those strategies along a couple of dimensions. Right? One is the way telecom operators collaborate internally in the sector, within the sector, and externally with other partners. And the other dimension is the way they adopt AI within the organization in terms of pervasiveness, right? And we found out, we've done this study a couple of times already, so last year and this year, that there are some players you might position top left that decided to focus on niche use cases, right? And so rather than deploying massively within the organization AI, they decided to collaborate with AI partners, tech vendors, the AI giants outside to work on very niche and specific use cases. Okay. Then we found out there is also another cluster, which is consisting of players that are massively teaming up within the sector. And this is quite new. We were not used to that kind of collaboration before, right? So we see operators collaborating with each other across geographies, sharing knowledge, creating models, telco-specific models. So this is telling you a lot on how you must collaborate. Then we saw bottom right, some other players that are massively introducing AI within all departments in the organization, which is telling you giving you a little bit of a sense of the new AI telco native player, right? And we believe that sooner or later everybody's going to be there, right? So it's just a matter of time. Then ultimately we see top right those players that are deploying massively internally AI, but they are also using AI as a service, as we said before, for the B2B customers. So they want to become the go-to partner when it comes to AI, right? And you have to be a local player, you have to be credible, you have to be close to your customers to do that. So they see this as revenue opportunity, and they use the the fact that they know how to be compliant, they know how to be secure as a selling point towards this kind of market. So they're trying to make money and then also trying to be more agile and more efficient.
Great, thank you.
Yeah,
I think that's all we have time for today, but thank you very much to the panelists for these great contributions here. And I think from the conversations we've just had, I think the future is very bright, very exciting. So I'm very, very excited for the future. I hope you are as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With very many thanks to all of our panelists who joined us up on stage. And I think Ronan mentioned at the beginning that the WBBA does a great job in bringing together lots of different perspectives, but also very global views and opinions and insights. And I think that's exactly what we heard here. We will be reducing down to 2 seats now as we return to the fireside chat format. And for our next conversation, I'd like to welcome on stage to review together the 2025 Fiber Development Index and what it means for what we should do next as an industry, Dr. Markus Brunner from Huawei and my Omdia colleague, Michael Philpott.
Thank you. It's not so much as a fireside chat. We're just doing a kind of a dual session. I'm going to do an introduction to the Fiber Development Index, and then we're just going to finish with a couple of questions for Markus, Markus leads the working group 1, who now kindly worked together to analyze the Fiber Development Index and publish through the WBBA. And that's the white paper that we're going to launch today. So it's fully available to you. You can download it and read all the interesting information that we have for you. So for those that don't know, the Fiber Development Index is now in its 6th year of issue, and it's one of the most comprehensive, if not the most comprehensive indexes looking at the Fiber Development Index. We don't just look at 1 or 2 metrics, we look at a comprehensive set of metrics covering fiber to the home coverage, the investment going into the WDM infrastructure. Then on the demand side, we look at fiber to the home penetration, fiber to the business penetration, mobile cell site penetration for all those 5G fixed wireless access connections. And then we look at the impact of all that investment on the overall broadband experience, working with our data partner Ookla, looking at download speeds, upload speeds, latency, and jitter. And for this year, we've introduced 4 new metrics so that we can also look at the service development that's coming across based on all that investment, looking at the number of subscriptions over 100 meg, 300 meg, 500 meg, and a gig. And we do all that for 95 countries around the world. And of course, with all index metrics, we take all that data in and we kind of crunch the models. And of course, that creates a score for each country as well as a ranking. But as Lisa from Fastweb was describing in her presentation, it's not so much where the country is ranked, it's understanding why the country is ranked that way. What's the legislation, what's the investment, what the strategies have gone in to those markets to develop the fiber development in the way that it has developed. And so we put a lot of analysis into that now, working with the World Broadband Association, especially now we come into the 6th year of issue, and we can really go into that into some depth. So if that's of interest to you, then I would really recommend that we download the white paper and read that in your own leisure. Now we have the service development in there. It's not just a question of looking at how countries are developing from an infrastructure point of view, but also how they're developing the services as countries move towards gigabit societies. And also then the link between the development in services and the final broadband experience that the consumers are experiencing. So just to finish off the introduction, I just wanted to put up the top 10 countries there. So congratulations to all the stakeholders in these countries. It's great to see some European, or increasing number of European countries now hitting into the top 10. And you can see at a higher level that the countries that in those kind of premium spots benefiting from the high scores in fiber supply and fiber demand that really then enables them to get good scores within the service development and the broadband experience. You can still see that some countries in there. The kind of outliers such as China, which has really been aggressive in terms of their service development, really continue to invest in their core networks and their access in the Wi-Fi networks to kind of really start to boost that broadband experience. On the other flip side of that coin, you've got countries like Qatar that have really invested in their broadband experience, but they've been a little bit more conservative in their service development. And that kind of leads me on to my first question for Marcus, which is, over the past couple of years, the Fiber Development Index has proposed a gigabit development, but in most countries, the gigabit service is still kind of considered a premium type service. What is your view on the global gigabit development trends?
Thank you, Michael. Working with this Fiber Development Index, we had a lot of discussions with a lot of people globally, and we see that like 1 gig is sort of the current speeds. I have to say, if we look a little bit ahead, we are now, and I'm coming from a standardization perspective, we now look ahead into the 10 gig area already. So I would assume the 1 gig will not be the premium service anymore quite soon, depending on the markets. So the first one. The second one, you mentioned the packaging. I think the package is not really about speed only for quite some time already. We have a lot of different dimensions in terms of coverage at home, intelligent home, package in quality of experience, package in other type of operator-provided services. Now I heard the whole day about AI. Naturally, AI is packaged in one or the other way into the whole package as well, and the network needs to adapt to that.
Excellent. Okay, you mentioned standards, so that kind of leads nicely onto the second question, which is, what are the new broadband networks and standards that will enable the broadband experience to start to match the level of service development?
Yes, I already started mentioning the 10 gig area. So in standardization, we call it the F5G advanced generation is basically talking about the 10 gig area. And the 10 gig area includes things like fiber to the room, 50G PON, 400 or 800 gig transmission systems, and so on and so forth. So that's on the sort of pure technology side. Then on the service side, we really need to have this adaptation to AI. If AI runs in the cloud, you need to have a very quick access to the cloud. If AI runs in data centers, the very large AI models, the LLMs and so on, they need much more data than one data center can hold. So we're going to need to have optical communication cross data centers. And finally, the new trend which we are currently discussing in standardization is if you do service development, it's not only about networking service, but it's really like an application level service. And this application level service can start using AI capabilities on network elements. I think like fiber to the room elements start hosting AI, like other network elements start hosting AI capabilities. So this needs to be included in the development of future services and applications.
Thank you, Marcus. So I think we've used up all our time, so thank you very much for that. So that just leads to my last slide, which is just to introduce the new white paper, which is available as of today. It has all that information there, the full set of the FDI results, and 6 in-depth case studies. So if you're interested in that information, then please go ahead, click on the link, and please download the white paper. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Next onto the stage are Martin Kriener, WBBA Director General, but also Vice President of Strategic Initiatives from Ookla, Mr. Kevin Hasley. They're going to be looking at some of the most recent WBBA research, which is looking at what are some of the challenges in European broadband at the moment, but also what are the solutions? What is it that we can come together to do as an organization, both through investment and operationally, in order to overcome some of those challenges? I'll hand it over to Kevin and Martin.
Many thanks there, Mark. And I just find it fascinating. We just did the Fiber Development Index. I think you could spend a whole afternoon talking about the implications of it. But we've so many interesting, valuable pieces of work coming out of the WBBA that we have 5 minutes on that. And similarly with broadband and cloud. Development Index. And we're going to spend another 5 or so minutes just talking about the Broadband Investment Guidebook, which is gone into its fourth or so iteration with the publication today of our Broadband Investment Guidebook for Europe. And Kevin, who's the chair of the work group on this, again, hugely important thing. We could spend most of the afternoon just talking about this, but could you give me some highlights? Why have we focused on Europe this time around?
Europe is a vast scene of complex geographical spaces, political differences, that we felt that, I think, one of the benefits of the Broadband Investment Guidebooks are to actually give a perspective of what investments are happening within that country so other regions can learn, can understand. Where we started out is, the first one was a global experience. What is broadband investment across the globe? And then we started looking at different regions and compare and contrast those different regions, North America, Africa, and now Europe. And we're looking at the differences of those broadband investments within those countries. And it's a very unique experience because certain countries, as you heard from Lisa, has its difference of opinions of, you know, whether it's Italy or whether it's Switzerland making those investments. And I think one investment that we need to really focus on is not just the RAN, the back end, but more the innovation of where the investment's going to come from next.
Yeah, and well, where is the investment going to come from? What are the main investment challenges that we're seeing? As you say, Lisa explained a handful of areas, and it was touched on in other presentations today, but where are the main investment challenges that we're seeing this time around?
Consumers. It's funny enough that a lot of consumers really are price conscious of what they want to choose, how they spend their internet bucks, whether it's mobile or whether it's Wi-Fi at home. And so when it comes down to it, we got to think of ways to innovate and not only the applications that they use, but communicate better to consumers of why they need the uplift and why they need faster speeds, therefore really prompting carriers, the regulators, to invest in networks because the consumers are demanding it.
I mean, it's a problem right across the whole industry that it's almost like the broadband industry is raced ahead of what the services actually need. And so people think, well, I don't need to upgrade because I can still gain good quality experience from old generations. But I mean, is that an issue still in Europe? And when's that issue going to disappear? When are we going to start seeing the services that really demand the advanced broadband?
More fiber. So one aspect across Europe is there's a lot still DSL. And one thing that's going to change this industry is outside influences on the market. I would say the Apples, the Googles, who are developing these technologies that make your home more livable, whether you have the Apple HomePod or other devices. When you start adding those devices in the home, you start congesting your network. You start having experiences of lag. And it's not the network coming into the home, it's all the devices that are actually using that same pipe. So in order to better those experiences, we need help from other vendors outside the influence of the consumers that says, hey, by the way, your fancy new Apple product or your fancy new Google or Windows product, maybe you need wider bandwidth, wider Wi-Fi, and that's really going to change the industry.
And in terms of financing all of this, again, we interviewed a lot of operators, a lot of regulators and so on this, and the concepts of supply-side incentives, demand-side incentives. Where do we come down in Europe? What's the need for financing of this?
Well, as Lisa mentioned, one of the funniest things about vouchers and all the other aspects that consumers have, I think the other incentive programs that really need to communicate is for consumers to see the benefits, as we talked about before. I think from that, I think the reduction of copper is mentioned as well. Building more fiber, building more experiences for the consumers to get the benefits. More and more enterprises, highlighting some of those speed differences in offices is going to be another key advantage.
Yeah, I chaired a roundtable on this topic with a number of European operators a few months back, and the overwhelming message that came out of them was, we don't necessarily need more investment,
right,
though we'll always take it, but it's for regulation to make it easier to do what we need to do.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And so where to next then on the Broadband Investment Guidebook?
Well, we need some help from all of you. If you have an idea of what region you would like to see, let us know. Please, the QR codes are on the pamphlet. We were thinking Latin America, Middle East. We've covered North America, Africa, the global experience. And now we need help from you that says, what other areas would you like to see in the broadband investment? What we use the guidebook for is to show the experience of other countries. If you'd like to learn more, let us know and we'll take a look at that.
So we have a global guidebook, an Americas guidebook, an Africa guidebook, a European guidebook as of today.
Yes.
And next steps, maybe Latin America.
Maybe Latin America.
Excellent.
Raise the hands of who wants to see Latin America.
Okay, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
We'll draw to a close there, and please download the guidebook. Let us have your comments, let us have your views, and if you have opinions as where to go next in terms of incentivizing broadband investment, reach out to the WBBA and get your views known and get yourself involved in the process. Thank you very much, Kevin.
Thank you.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you, Kevin. I think one of the really interesting things about the document that we see on the screen behind us here is, the concept of this as a guidebook. I think that really kind of affirms the WBBA's position to advise the industry and not just to provide two-dimensional content, but there's a lot of practical advice there that I know will be very important for everybody in the audience here. And to Kevin's point, do let us know where we should be going next. We have one final speaker before we move on to the all-important Broadband Excellence Awards. It's my great pleasure to welcome onto the stage a long-time WBBA supporter and collaborator, the Vice Chair of the IPv6 Forum, Dr. Tayeb Ben Meriem.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here, like it was the case last year. So the purpose of my talk today is to set out two white papers that emerged from two major projects within Working Group 4 that is dealing with network technologies. So the first one is on EI for Net 5.5G and Net 5G for EI. That is first white paper. And within our working group number 4, beside working item that is the instrument of all developing white papers, and to interact with our partners to contribute and to develop this white paper and to consume this white paper and to send us feedback in order to identify any gaps that might happen when they deploy it in their real network, and then we fill the gap by creating new work items. That is our cycle of development. Second, within working group number 4, beside this work item as mentioned, we have another track dedicated to the proof of concept, so-called proof of concept program. This instrument is very important because beside developing white paper, we need to assess the viability of the concept technology scenario use cases that we have defined in this white paper in order to build trust and confidence once come to deploy this concept, these frameworks, architecture frameworks that have been defining in our white paper. That is also another stream that allows us to have this complete picture from specifications or development frameworks, architecture, design blueprint, and then proof of concept is the place, is the playground for instituting this framework or the design blueprint. The design blueprint plays the role of, let's say, metadata. And then we instantiate this metadata, we mechanize, we operationalize this meta model into real-world framework, actionable framework. That's very important by embedding our customer requirements. That is for the second white paper. So, at left-hand side, you can see our Net 5.5G toolkit. It's composed of 10 components. We are looking from business need to architecture development side, to best practices, and also to certifications and readiness assessment. That's also very important. We have this framework, and we need also to assess the readiness and the maturity of deployment. And that is, this instrument helps us to discuss with our partner from two purposes. The partners that are already deployed Net 5.5G, and we need to assess the maturity of that deployment. Second, for the ones that are still waiting, and we need to help them in order to move forward. And we have some KPIs that allow us to monitor the way that are progressing in deployment of 5.5G. So this, you can see the row for this white paper. We are using the architecture framework that we released last year. It's Net 5.5G architecture. And now we wanted to embed AI capability in this architecture, this design blueprint. And the result of that is this new white paper, AI for Net 5.5G and Net 5G for EI. We have the two ways to look at EI. EI can empower operator for operate in order to improve operation, in order to improve, let's say, strategic processes for planning, pre-deployment, in order to choose the right or the relevant area to cover on broadband, and also to choose their investment. That is from strategic part. And we have also a stream from tactical side. It is about optimization of operation processes thanks to the EI, moving from reactive mode to proactive mode. That is the other side of this Net 5, EI for operator, EI for Net 5.5G. On the other hand, we are looking at the data center network. I say network. And as you may know, you have cluster of computer, GPUs, and storage. And there is need for interaction between the two end-to-end cluster, because we have huge volume of data that's moving from one side to another side, and we need also synchronization. And to do that, we need high-speed network with very low latency and high resilience and zero packet loss. That is also what operator can provide to data center network partners. That is the reason why we are seeing that we are looking the two sides, the two paradigms, EI for network, EI for Net 5.5G, and Net 5.5G or network for EI, how to improve EI processes and workload, training, and inference. All these processes, training, and inference, they need exchange of huge volume of data between clusters, and there is, as mentioned, synchronization. And the only way to do that is to deploy network that embed such capability, low latency, ultra high speed, and zero loss. zero packet loss. Moving to the second white paper, that is also very important. The second one is the result of collaboration between WBBA Working Group number 4 and GSMA Task Force on 5G over Wi-Fi. So they wanted, via this collaboration, to assess the viability of the concept that GSMA Task Force on 5G over Wi-Fi wanted to assess. The case is, I am in rural area or in indoor and have cellular coverage, poor cellular coverage. How to improve quality of service by adding another wireless layer that is composed on Wi-Fi. That is the question that we have solved within joint proof of concept. So this is second white paper that we released, and it's the first time that I've been working together with another association. It's not the first time, but the first time with GSMA. But we have also worked together with IPv6 Forum on how to certify SRv6 in Net5.5G. So that is what we wanted to achieve in the next white paper. That's about Net5.5G readiness assessment and certification. Certification, that means we need an independent certifier that will be onboarded in our activities. And exactly what we did. 2 years ago, we have been signing joint MOU between WBBA and IPv6 Forum, and how to the concretization of this MOU is the joint white paper that we already started working on in September and will be released next year at MWBC Barcelona. It is about Net5.5G readiness assessment and certification. And as you may know, there are major applications, sensitive applications that will be supported by Net5.5G architecture. Sensitive application from European Commission side. I have been participating in European Commission side on Data Act and AI Act activities when I was in ETSI. So we are talking about sensitive or AI or application of high risk. That's the definition from European Commission. Application of high risk means application that may cause negative impact on citizen or society or on businesses. That means we have to take care on such applications once it comes to deploy this application or network. And this is why, besides testing, validating, that is what you used to do as operator before deploying the large scale application scenario and services for typical sensitive application or application of high risk from terminology of European Commission, we need to onboard an independent certifier because our certification as operator or as vendor is not sufficient for this typical application. We need to prove that we have an independent certifier and an independent tester that is engaged in this process and to validate this, to give his logo that for such application, yes, there is no negative or impact on society, on citizen. That is very important that we are collaborating with other partners for such activities. So these are the two white papers. Feel free to download from WBBA website. At left-hand side, we have EI for Net5.5G and Net5.5G for EI white paper. And at the right-hand side, we have this white paper that emerged, that is takeaway from this joint proof concept between WBBA, working group number 4, and GSMA task force on 5G over Wi-Fi. So that is the second white paper. So thank you for listening, and we hope to see you in Barcelona.
We come to the final section of today's agenda, which is the section where we get to celebrate successes and winners in our industry, because it's time for the Broadband Excellence Awards. This is the second year in which the Broadband Excellence Awards have been running, and it's a chance for us to come together as a collective to celebrate innovation, leadership, and the transformative power of broadband, the very technology that connects us as a society. And the Broadband Excellence Awards honor outstanding achievement and innovation across the global broadband ecosystem. They recognize organizations, projects, and technologies that are shaping the future of connectivity, from cutting-edge infrastructure and smart city solutions to AI-driven networks, digital inclusion initiatives, and intelligent connected homes. This year marks the second edition of the Broadband Excellence Awards, and what a remarkable year it has been. We are thrilled to share that the awards this year, in terms of submissions, have grown fivefold compared to last year, which is a true reflection of the industry's passion and progress, but also the increasing prominence both of the WBBA and the Broadband Excellence Award program. Our judging panel has also doubled in size this year versus last year, bringing together an even broader group of experts from across the globe to ensure fairness, diversity, and excellence in every category. This growth and enthusiasm underscore one clear message: that broadband innovation has never been more vibrant, more critical, or more impactful. The 2025 Broadband Excellence Awards feature 6 distinct categories, each highlighting a key dimension of broadband excellence: AI in network excellence, broadband for digital inclusion excellence, broadband innovation excellence for future applications, intelligent home innovation excellence, network infrastructure innovation excellence, and smart gigacity excellence. And together these categories combine to represent the WBBA's unwavering commitment to recognizing excellence across infrastructure, innovation, and inclusion and impact. May I please invite Martin Kriener, Director General of the WBBA, and Dr. Zhengmao, Chairman of the Board WBBA, to come on stage to present this year's awards. So together, let's begin the 2025 Broadband Excellence Awards ceremony. If perhaps we could have the first category, please. Thank you. So our first category is AI in network excellence, which honors the integration of AI to enable cloud-scale, low latency, and intelligent network operations. This year's finalists were China Telecom, the National University of Singapore, STC, T-Mobile USA, and Turkcell. And the 2025 winner is T-Mobile USA for its AI in network excellence. Congratulations to T-Mobile. In the Broadband for Digital Inclusion Excellence category, which recognizes impactful initiatives that have successfully closed the digital divide by extending meaningful, affordable broadband access to unserved or underserved populations, the finalists were Aze Telecom, Fast Networks Malawi, Globe Telecom, Sunrise, and ZTE. And our two winners this year are Aze Telecom and Globe Telecom. Congratulations again to Aze Telecom and Globe Telecom. In the Broadband Innovation Excellence for Future Applications category, the highlights are, the category is designed to highlight breakthroughs powering emerging use cases such as metaverse and cloud gaming. And the finalists this year are China Telecom, Raisecom, Safaricom, Sunrise, and Trailblazer Broadband. And the winner this year of the Broadband Innovation Excellence for Future Applications category is Safaricom. Congratulations to Safaricom. The Intelligent Home Innovation Excellence category celebrates breakthroughs in CPE, CPN, and connected living. And this year the finalists are China Unicom, T-Mobile, Vodafone, and ZTE. And the winner of the Intelligent Home Innovation Excellence category in 2025 for its intelligent converged FTTR terminal is China Unicom. Congratulations to China Unicom. Network Infrastructure Innovation Excellence recognizes outstanding advancements in broadband infrastructure that demonstrate creativity, intelligence, and strategic impact. The finalists this year are Altis Labs, China Unicom, China Telecom, EAN, Tech Mahindra, and Turkcell. And our two winners in 2025 are China Telecom and Turkcell. Congratulations to China Telecom and to Turkcell. The Smart Gigacity Awards celebrates broadband-powered smart city initiatives that enhance public services and urban living. we're going to go straight into the winners in each of our categories in the Smart Gigacity Awards. And in the Advanced City Trophy, the winners are Telecom Argentina in Recreo, Charafata and Anatuya, and in Beijing with Raisecom. Congratulations. So congratulations to our winners in the Advanced City category. And our winners in the Developing City category are Sunrise in Kenya and Tunisia Telecom in Tunisia. Congratulations to both our winners in the Developing City category. The Smart Gigacity Awards were incredibly fiercely competitive this year. Lots of submissions, lots of nominations, great debates in the judging panel, to the extent that the judging panel would like to hand out some recognition awards for those who did not quite make the winning category for either an advanced city or a developing city. And it's my pleasure to announce the recognition awards in the Smart Gigacity category for Sao Paulo and Rio to Claro, in Hainan, China Unicom, Shangrao, China Unicom, Wuhan, China Telecom, Nairobi, Safaricom, Abu Dhabi, Optical, and Estes Park, Trailblazer Broadband. Congratulations again, thank you. As I said, 5-fold increase in the number of submissions this year versus last year. Very fiercely competitive, fiercely debated set of submissions by the whole of the judging panel, to the extent that Martin will be introducing a final judging panel special award before we close today's Broadband Development Congress.
Thank you, Mark. Yes, as Mark has laid out, this was a hugely popular awards program. We had so many submissions, 5 times more than last year, and it's been incredibly difficult to judge and only pick one winner. You can see we've chosen 2 winners in some situations. But there was also some submissions that we got that came in that were excellent submissions, but maybe didn't exactly fit the category of submissions. And one of those, we have a judging panel special commendation award, and that is for the Gigacity Giga Area Award from STC. And so I'd like to invite STC to join us on the stage for our final award.
So I do think that the Broadband Excellence Awards are a really great way for us to close the Broadband Development Congress. Huge amount of energy in the room right now, and it's a really great chance to recognize the people, the projects, and the partnerships that are redefining the future of connectivity. On behalf of the World Broadband Association, congratulations once again to all of our winners and finalists. I think it's certainly the case that your vision, creativity, and dedication continue to inspire the entire industry. We'll close in a moment, but when I do that, if I can invite all of our award winners to come back on stage for a group photograph. And for all of our finalists who are here on site, please do make sure that your certificate of acknowledgement is something you collect before you leave. Otherwise, thanks again once to everybody who has joined us here this afternoon, our speakers, our members, our partners, and our guests, for making the 2025 Broadband Development Congress and Broadband Excellence Awards a resounding success. Together, the WBBA is shaping a more connected, inclusive, and intelligent digital future. Have a wonderful evening, and we look forward to seeing you again next time. Thank you.